Hey guys, this is going to be a 3 or 4 part video on me doing the carb for my 455 Buick. Is, you know, Rochester quadrajet. They're almost all the same, but this video is just a disassemble. Then I'm gonna do a plating and polishing, you know, a part video, and then the last video will probably be the assembly. So coronavirus been going on. I done been around people with it, so I think I'm immune. So I had my grandson down here. It's been months. When the last time you been down here?
I don't really know.
Been a long time, huh?
Yeah.
Good to see you though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little grandson, little junior boy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great to be back.
Alright, go ahead.
Hi, all things Buick friends. Like and subscribe watch the whole video for another one. And yeah. It's your line now. Let's go. I'm gonna put that here. How am I talking about? Let's talk.
You said you wanted to be in the video.
I do! You talk!
No, you don't want to be in the video.
I do! I got nothing else to say.
Nothing else?
None. That's all I got.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Oh, God. No. Oh. Got it.
Okay. So she's bent right there. But as you see, comes up, but this is bent right here. Alright, so then here, you got a pin that you got to hammer out here. Alright, you want to just take a punch this through. You normally put a putty knife or something against this back wall to make sure you don't hammer into the casing, and you just punch it till it hit that putty knife, a thin putty knife. Then this piece will come off. And like I said, this piece here is pretty much bent. I can hammer that straight, but I got a few others. Then it's got a pin on here, a notch that comes out. It's not a pin, but a notch that comes out that makes sure that holds in place. So you got to bend it down so this will pull out of there. All right, so everything's off of here. Now I just want to take all the bolts out the top. It's got washers on this particular carburetor. Alright, so I got 2 more screws right here. You got 2 here, 2 here, 2 inside there, and 1 in the back. And it was 2 on the outside here too. So alright, so I got this screwdriver that once you push this in, it'll tighten down on the nut, the bolt that you're trying to get off. And it's really good, especially when you're putting the car back together, to make sure that you got this on here and you ain't got to worry about losing the screw in the carburetor once you putting it back together. If I lose it in there right now, it's not as big a deal because I'm tearing it all apart. But once you get it all back together, you don't want to be losing no bolts in there. Okay, so actually after I got those two bolts out of there. This is ready to come off. So you want to trying to break, make sure the gasket, but you just want to pull straight up on this. You want to pull straight up on this because you don't want to bend the needles here. Okay, so you don't want to bend the needles here. So, I mean, I guess I should have pulled this off first. Should have pulled that off first. But I want to check these and make sure these are all nice and tight. And they're good. So, alright, so then this all came out in one piece. So all of this looks good. I'll take this off here in a minute. And we got the pump. So this carb has actually been going through. I thought it hadn't been, but this just looks way too good inside to not have been gone through before. So then we got the spring there. So the spring there, it comes out right in here. Look at this. This thing is all broke up. Wow. That's probably why the guy quit using the carburetor, because that float, look at that. That float look like it's, it might be the right height. I'm going to check that before I even take this out of here. Just see how far was that float coming up. But by this thing being broke, I know it was laying on the bottom of that float, and this carb could not have been working right. So that's why I decided to go through it before I even put it on the car, just to make sure. Alright, so this spring here goes in the front. And this one in the back here, and I think the coils on it is not, they're a little more fine in the rear. See that? Look at the difference in the two. So this one goes in the front and this one goes in the rear. Big difference in the two, front and rear. Okay, as you see, you got the little bitty thing that goes onto the float there, the seat. And you want to make sure that seat is put on there when you put this back together. when you buy certain kits, they give you a new seat a lot of times. They give you a brand new seat. But you got to make sure that's on there. Like I say, when I go back to put this back together, I go through everything. Yeah, almost got the top of this tore apart here. Alright, so then we got the 2 screws here. And everything's coming off of this car pretty nice. So I like that. Everything's coming loose. Alright, so then this will come out of here once you get those 2 screws out. Now, this piece here, you don't want to bend that. Because like I say, they only made these cars, these carburetors, they only made these carburetors for 2 years. And this piece, I do not think that you can get that again. I don't think you can get that. So you want to be very careful not to bend that up. I got to get these springs loose off of here. Alright, so first off, you got a spring here that's hooked up right here, okay, and then this back spring, it clips right on the back of this plate here. See if I can get the light to cut on there. See if I can focus in here a little bit more. I see this right here. It's a little spring that holds this inner spring right there, and then also that spring comes right and clamps right there. Alright, so first off, what I want to do is just remove this spring. Alright, so once I get that removed, then I can hold this, and that'll, by me holding this spring in place, because if not, well, okay. So get that to turn, see that? Get that to turn there, then I can pull this spring right off of there. Okay, so then next, I want to get this, it's not going to fit in there. I can use this. And I want to just push up on that and get that spring off of there. See that? Once that spring come off, then I can play with this and get this to pull off of there. See that? And then all I gotta do is just bring this up and around and out. And like I said, this little spring here, it just holds on to, it just holds on the back side of there. And then it long piece here, it rests right here on this little hump, and it's a little indentation right there, and that holds right there. And like I say, this piece go on there, and that spring just comes around like that, if you can see that. Alright, so overall, same screwdriver I could push down So these gotta come. These gotta come out here. 2 of them. I'll take the other one out a little later. And then you got your check ball is right down in here. Alright, see that? That screw go right in there, and if you look down in that hole, right down in there, you'll see that little check ball. So when I flip that up, that little check ball just, it'll come out of there. Now you can save them, you can reuse that, but normally your rebuild kit will come with a new check ball, certain kits. And this here, you're not gonna get this off of here. It goes on there, but you're not gonna get this off of here till you take this top body off the bottom base plate. So you're not going to be able to get that out of there. So that means when you go to put this back together, you want to have all of this base plate assembled before you put your body on here, because otherwise you're not going to get this back on there. All right, so then we got a little adjustment screw here. That'll come off of here. And also this brass piece here that your your seat for the float goes in there. I got a special screwdriver that I cut down to fit that, because you don't want to be have like the wrong size screwdriver in there and it's chipping little metal chips off. You going to tighten it or unloosen it, even though I'd be dipping this whole carburetor and blowing it out. But you really just want to take your screwdriver, grind it down, and make sure it's going to fit from one end of this to the other end of this. To make sure that comes out with one nice turn. So regular screwdriver just not going to work, guys. Okay, so also on here you notice I wrote left and right. I will be polishing these with the metal polish that I use. These are aluminum. Now I'm going to have to grind these tabs off first because they flared on the end, and if you just try to screw these out, they're gonna break. So you wanna die grind these little screws here down flush. And if you go off into the casting a little bit, it's not gonna hurt nothing, but you don't really have to go down that far. If they don't come out with a nice little turn, you might want to heat these up a little bit. But I've never had a problem with them not coming out unless you got a carburetor somebody had sitting outside and rusted, or their garage was just humid. But yeah, you got to grind all of these tabs off, and then these shafts will come out of here. Once you take those off, the shafts will come out of there. So I got left and right. And something else, guys, look, I noticed there's 2 screws that hold this base plate in. I didn't mess with this at all. One of the screws is out of the base plate. There's no telling. This thing probably was never running right for this guy. And then I got to pull these off. But once I get the screw off, then the base plate will come out of there. Okay, so once I took that bolt off of there, this actually came off pretty easy. Like I say, I could tell somebody that did this carburetor, but these gaskets, the top and bottom of these gaskets are in pretty good condition. But seeing that I brought new kits, I will probably be changing these out, but I saved these just to match up the old with the new. So like I say, I use I get, you know, from Dollar Tree or wherever, Family Dollar or Dollar General, I don't know. I get these bags, they pretty cheap. So I'm gonna save all the gaskets, and so I will pull this out too. You just normally bump on that, and that'll come right out of there. So it comes out, and it's the writing on the front of it here. So I like to make sure that I look at all of that. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got writing across the front here, so that's gonna go towards the front. And I plate these things. There go one there that I plated already. Same thing. This writing is a little bigger than what's on here. Probably not even the same part numbers. But it's the same exact plate. You know, it's nothing there's nothing different about that plate in most of these, I don't believe. But I will be plating that up. I'll plate all these parts eventually. Zinc plate it. Alright. Alright, so I will pour these out. Both sides. And I will be plating them up too. Like I said, I probably got all some, I already got some probably plated already. So now, this whole thing is completely apart here. This will come off of here. Now I got, it's a spring in there. Let me see if you can see it in there. Alright, so it's a spring. It's a spring in here. And what you do to get this off, it's a screw. It's a screw right in there. Okay, so in order to get this screw out, you got to take an Allen wrench and you got to loosen this bolt up. Then that screw will come out of there. All Alright guys, so now I got that carburetor totally tore apart. So what I do, I still got to get this piece out in there, but then I take this and dip this in Berryman's juice, and then I'll be plating them, zinc plating, and then yellow chromating and blue chromating the bottom base plate here. In the middle section, and the top will have the yellow chromate.